All right there. Hi, everybody. Let's go ahead and get right into it. You're just going to need your resistance band for this one. We're going to focus on some footwork in this one, a lot of back strengthening, and we end with a nice round of flexibility. So let's get started.
And we're going to start with the Pilates breath here. So relax your shoulders, extend those legs out. So I want you to really focus on relaxing those hip flexors, relax your shoulders, relax your neck here. Place your hands on your rib cage. I always like to say middle fingers just gently touching so that you can really feel the expansion of the ribs. So I want you to focus on breathing into the ribs, not so much into the belly, and certainly not into the shoulders. So taking a deep inhale through your nose, feel the rib cage expand under those hands. So those middle fingers gently will come apart as the rib cage expands. And exhale, the rib cage is going to draw down, middle fingers will draw towards one another again. Deep inhale, breathing into the front, back, and sides of the ribs. And exhale through the mouth, rib cage draws down. So we're starting abdominal connection here. We're loosening up all the little joints that are in that rib cage that connect the sternum and the rib cage and the vertebra in the rib cage. I always feel a couple little cracks if I do this right away in the morning. Just that nice deep breathing, deep inhale. Really focusing on breathing not just into the front of the ribs, but the back and sides as well. And exhale through the mouth. Let's do two more. Deep inhale. And exhale. One more time. Deep inhale. And exhale. And then from here, go ahead, bend your knees, feet flat on the floor. And then make sure that those heels are fairly close into your booty, that they're not too far out. You want those heels directly under the knees, hip width apart. And we're going to go into our pelvic tucks. So I want you to, again, relax the hip flexors and focus on pulling up and in with your lower abdominals here. So you've got a natural curve under your lower back. So you should have some weight in your tailbone, a little bit of curve under, a little bit of space under that lumbar. Okay. Now from here, you're going to inhale, holding in that neutral position. As you exhale, you're going to pull that belly button up and in, tightening up those lower abdominals and tilt the pelvis into imprint so your lower back is gently making contact with the mat, not being jammed in. Inhale back to neutral. Exhale, slight tuck into imprint. So again, don't push into your feet to jam your back in, and try not to fire up the hip flexors. Think about pulling up and in with the lower abdominals. Think about activating your pelvic floor to find that little bit of pelvic tilt. Okay, being able to find that little bit of tilt in the pelvis is really important. That neutral and imprint. Inhale, neutral. Exhale, imprint. Again, don't jam your back in. Use your abdominals. Inhale, neutral. Let's do one more time. Exhale, imprint. And inhale, neutral. So I'd like you to, as much as possible throughout class, that neutral spine is so important. We're going to come back to it constantly, and I'll be referring to it. And what that is, again, is we've got a little bit of natural curve under the lumbar. Abdominals are nice and tight, rib cage is down. So we also did that inhale, exhale at the beginning so that we could figure out how when you exhale, the abdominals engage and the rib cage knits down and together. So that's our neutral spine. So we're going to constantly be coming back to that. So take a mental note of what that feels like. So doing your best to maintain that neutral spine, not tucking that tailbone under unless you absolutely have to. If you're feeling any lower back discomfort, okay, you can go into that imprint position, but I'd like you to try and practice activating those abdominals in your neutral spine. Take an inhale, hands are down by your sides. Exhale, one leg up to tabletop. Take another inhale, scooping out those lower abdominals. Exhale, other leg up to tabletop. So what we're doing here is we're trying to avoid the popping of the belly. So I'll see it on a lot of people, and it used to happen to me a lot before I realized how to properly engage my abdominals, and that's the lower abdominals. So if you notice when your legs came up, your belly popped, you're not activating your abdominals correctly, and all you're doing is training your belly to stick out. So that pulling up and in with the lower abdominals, which is the transversus abdominis, is really important here. From here, we're going to go into toe taps, moving from the hip joint. Inhale, tap, exhale, up. Inhale, tap, exhale, up. So we're moving from the hip joint, not from the knee. Those toes are coming down to touch the floor. a little ways away from your butt, so it's a little bit of a challenge here. And again, you're doing your best to not tuck your tailbone under into that imprint. You're trying to maintain that neutral, pushing down with the ribs, pulling up with the lower abdominals here. For 4, exhale up, and 3, exhale up. For 2, last 1, hold those legs up in tabletop. Bring your arms out to a T. Here, I'm going to bring my hands behind my head because I have limited space. And really ground down in those shoulders, broaden through your collarbone here. You're going to inhale, let those knees and feet tip to one direction. That hip is going to lift off the mat. Now only let those knees come down till they're about 6 inches to a foot off the mat. And then exhale, come back to center. Inhale, other direction. And exhale, center. So as you inhale and begin that tipping, breathe into that opposing lung so it keeps you nice and grounded. So we're trying to really mobilize the spine here. A lot of back issues happen from lack of abdominal strength and lack of mobilizing the spine. So it is a use it or lose it kind of thing. So we sit all day and we don't move our spine in all the beautiful directions. It's meant to be moved, and then we lose it and things stiffen up, and that's when we start to feel pain in the back. So we want to keep that spine as mobile as possible. Let's do one more. Inhale, tip. And exhale, center. Go ahead and bring those feet down onto the mat, hands down by your sides, palms up towards the ceiling. It just helps encourage those shoulders to open instead of roll forward. Make sure again that those feet are directly under your knees, fairly close to your booty. We're in that neutral spine, so natural curve under that lower back. Take an inhale. As you exhale, using your abdominals here, tuck that tailbone under and begin to articulate up one vertebra at a time. So really concentrating on that peeling sensation. Inhale at the top, squeezing those glutes from the back. As you exhale, sink in the sternum, bringing the back of the ribs down. Then the middle back, lower back, and tailbone. Again, inhale, neutral spine. Exhale, tailbone under, really pulling up and in with that tummy, and really try to peel one vertebra at a time. Take your time. Think of your spine as a sticker, a Band-Aid you're peeling up and off the mat. As you exhale and come down, think about putting energy in towards your head and lengthening kind of out your neck a little bit to avoid putting tension in your shoulders. Inhale, neutral. Exhale, tailbone under and articulate up. Watch that your knees are tracking over those ankles, okay? That they're not going narrower or wider, okay? Really pay attention to that alignment. It's these little things that make all the difference in Pilates. It's all about that mindful movement. Let's do one more. Inhale, neutral. Exhale, tailbone under and articulate up. Inhale at the top and exhale, articulate down. Good. From here, let's go into a little bit of abdominal work. Go ahead and grab your band. And we're going to do kind of a little bit of head support with our band. So you're going to take your band and make sure it's nice and wide. And you're going to put it around your head. So it's just cradling the head. And you want the band fairly short in your hands so that you can really support the head. Okay? So don't be afraid to choke up on that band a bit. Now, neutral spine, feet are hip width apart. Try not to activate those hip flexors and do your best to keep that neutral position. Elbows are forward towards those knees. Shoulders are relaxed. Take an inhale. Exhale, head is heavy. Okay, so the band, we're just pulling on the band and using our abdominals to come up to that crunch position. Keep your head nice and heavy in the band so you can feel your head like you're trying to touch your head or just like it's dead weight in the band here so that your neck isn't doing any of the work. Inhale, bring it back down. Exhale, think about sliding your ribs down to meet your hips. Don't tuck the tailbone under. And inhale back. Exhale up. And inhale back. Again, head is super heavy in the band. No neck work here, all abdominals. And you might feel your triceps a little bit, okay, because of the way our arms are positioned. And again, we're letting that head be heavy in the hands. So we're adding a little extra weight. So those arms have to work just a little bit, but primarily it's abdominals here. Again, pay attention. As you come up, are you pushing your lower back? Are you letting that tailbone lift off the mat? Okay. If you are, try to fix that. It takes time. It took me a long time after, being used to doing crunches and abdominal stuff incorrectly to learn how to maintain that neutral spine. And sometimes I still have to remind myself, but you got to start somewhere. Inhale back and exhale up. Let's do 3 more. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. One more time. Inhale and exhale. Hold it here. Take an inhale. Exhale, one leg up to tabletop. Inhale, bring that head and foot back down. Exhale, other side as you crunch up. Inhale, foot and head come down. Exhale, crunch up. Inhale back. So again, head is nice and heavy in those hands, or in the band, I should say. And really, again, think about pulling up and in with those lower abdominals, training that belly to be nice and flat. That transversus abdominis is that invisible corset that we all have built in. Might as well use it. Exhale for 3 and back. For 2 and back. Last one and back. Go ahead and release the band, and you can keep it where it is, and bring your hands behind your head. And I want you to think of the same kind of principle here, that again, head is heavy in the hands instead of the band this time. Okay, now take an inhale, exhale, crunch up into that abdominal position, that crunch position. Try not to tuck the tailbone under. Take another inhale. Exhale, one leg up to tabletop. Inhale. Exhale, other leg up to tabletop. Did you notice your belly pop there? If you did, really focus on pulling up and in with those lower abdominals. From here, you're going to grab your right knee and extend that left leg out. So really pull that knee in towards the chest. We're going into single leg stretch and switch and switch. You can do this with that upper body down. So if this is too much for you, if you're feeling any neck issues, okay, or you're just overdoing it in those hip flexors, maybe bringing that upper body down is going to help. Otherwise, full version, don't be afraid to kind of use your arms to pull yourself up a little more into that crunch position, into that flex spine. For 3 and 2 and 1. Hold. Hands come back behind the head. Head is heavy in those hands. Going into bicycle, opposite shoulder to knee. And switch. And switch. And switch. For 5 and 4 and 3. Pull that belly up and in. And 2. Last 1. Hold. Extend that right leg towards the ceiling. Left leg is extended, hovering maybe 5 inches off the mat. And we're going into those scissors. We pull, pull, switch. Pull, pull, switch. Again, don't be afraid to pull yourself up a little more with those arms, scooping out those lower abdominals for 3, 2, 1. Both legs come up towards the ceiling. Bend those knees into tabletop and release all the way back. Good. Go ahead and take a nice long-bodied stretch here, allowing that rib cage to pop up because we're going into a stretch. So we don't need any abdominal connection right now. We want to lengthen out those abdominals we put that we're contracting throughout all that abdominal work. Good. Go ahead and bring yourself up to a seated position. Now, I want you to focus on a really tall spine here. So again, if you have tight hip flexors and if you've been sitting more, which I think we all have lately, you're probably tighter. So for me, I tend to have a little bit tighter hip flexors. So I have to bend my knee. Another thing you can do is prop yourself up on, if you've got, you can roll up your mat a little bit. If you've got towels, pillows nearby, prop yourself up because that'll take some of the pressure, the tension off of those hip flexors. Because what I want is that beautiful tall spine. Okay, so I don't want you slouched in any way. Okay, we've got to use those back extensors, the multifidus, all the beautiful little muscles around the spine that are meant to give us that beautiful tall posture. So balancing on your sit bones, the bony part of your butt, you're lifting up and out. So you've got that invisible string from your tailbone coming out the top of the head. Okay, now from here, bring your arms out to a T position, broaden through your collarbone, relax your shoulders down. We're going into spinal twist. So from here, keep your arms out. So what a lot of people do often is they'll bring their arm forward and move in the shoulder joint, and that's not what we're looking for here. Okay, keep your arms wide and twist in the ribs, okay? Like your rib cage is trying to twist around your spine. So from here, you're gonna twist, you're gonna exhale, 3, 2, 1, and center. Other side, exhale, and center. Sit up nice and tall. Don't lean back. Don't slouch. Sit up tall. Pull those abdominals in. And exhale, 3, 2, 1, and inhale. Exhale, 3, 2, 1, and inhale. Pay attention. If you can easily see those hands in the corner of your eyes, chances are you're moving your arm forward and not twisting so much in the waist. 3, 2, 1. Again, 3, 2, 1. Let's do one more each side. Hold. Okay, now if you can, again, only if you can, sit up tall and extend those legs out, otherwise knees stay bent. We're going into our saw. So twist, sitting up tall. You're gonna flip that back pinky up towards the ceiling and reach that opposing pinky towards pinky toe. So you have this little bit of twist and flexion here. From here, now you're staying twisted, but you're stacking that spine back up straight. And we come center. Other side, exhale. Yes, hip width apart, or actually you can take them a little wider. Thank you. Yes, good question. And from here we twist and pinky up and then pinky to pinky toe. And we stack that spine back up, staying in the twist, and we untwist. Exhale, twist. Inhale, reach. Inhale, up. Exhale, back. And we twist and reach and up and center. Twist and reach, up and center. Again, bend those knees if you need to. Again, working on the mobility of the spine. We're getting a little bit of flexion, a little bit of twisting here, a little bit of back work to sit up nice and tall, lengthening those hamstrings. Let's do one more each side. Twist, reach, up and center, twist, reach, up and center, and release. And go ahead and you can take that little slouch. So I like to do that one too because it's a really good reminder. And if you didn't have, which I'm assuming most of you guys probably didn't have a mirror in front of you at home, but if next time you're back in the gym or if you have a full length mirror, you'd be surprised on how much you think you're sitting up tall. And people will be like, sit up tall, and they're like, okay, and they look like this. Because they're not activating those back muscles. Those back muscles really have to activate. Your abdominals really have to work hard to really lengthen and lift that spine. Okay, so it is quite a bit of work. So you do have to practice and work on strengthening those back muscles. Go ahead and grab your resistance band. And again, you can bend those knees if you need to so that you're sitting up as tall as possible. Think about where your head is centered on your spine as well. So a lot of people are like this all the time. And that head is super forward. Make sure that it's centered over the spine. Okay, your head, the average head weighs about 14 pounds. And that's when it's centered on the spine. The more it comes forward, the more weight, the more gravity pushes down, and that weight increases. That's a lot of weight for that little neck. Okay, and that's why people end up with postural issues and then neck issues because that's so much tension on the neck. Okay, so Sit up tall, center that head over the spine where it's supposed to be. Band around those feet, and again, bend your knees if you need to sit up tall. Choke up as much as you'd like on the band, and elbows are gonna come back as you exhale, tight against the sides, drawing the shoulders back and down, broadening through your collarbone. Inhale forward, exhale back. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. So as the arms come back straight, what we're trying to do is avoid the shoulders rolling forward, staying broad through the collarbone, even as those arms release back forward. Pulling that tummy up and in. So we're really trying to work those back muscles around the scapula to help pull those shoulders back, okay? That's how we correct that poor slouched forward posture, by strengthening our back to help pull those shoulders back into that neutral position. For 5 and 4, sit up a little taller, and 3, 2, last one, hold it back, little pulses, squeeze and squeeze, squeeze. For 8 and 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and release. All right, set that band down. Now, if you are able to find a wall at home and sit up against it, I find this to be helpful. I don't have that because I want you to be crazy sitting up tall. Okay, we're gonna go into some footwork, which I really love to work with people on, because the feet, I always like to say, are the unsung heroes of our body. We abuse them and we give them no attention whatsoever. So if you can, again, find a wall to sit up against, best case scenario. Unfortunately, I can't do that on this extended platform. So I'm going to do my best to demonstrate beautiful tall posture. So find that wall, and then again, I'd be sitting up against the wall. And I want you to bring your hands down by your butt, and I want you to sit up as tall as you can and just kind of lifting up and out. So you can, again, feel those back muscles really lengthening here, okay? Now, feet are out in front of you. Legs are nice and straight here. So this I do need straight legs for, okay? Now, I want you to really focus on, so when you just let your feet hang there, and then I want you to pull your toes towards your face. So you can really feel that the calf muscles are really activated, and you're drawing your kneecaps up towards your heart, so your legs are really strong here as well. Now, do you notice that your toes, usually I find people with their pinky toes, are rolling in towards one another, okay? I don't want that. I want your feet as flat as possible, like you were standing. Okay, so if your feet were up against another wall, they'd be super flat. Your big toes, little toes would be hitting them equally, not rolling out or in that case, okay? Now this might be like, ooh, this, a lot of times you'll feel all of the little muscles in the top of your feet here, and this is kind of challenging for a lot of people. Okay, now from here, I want you to spread your toes as much as possible while simultaneously pulling those toes back towards your face, lifting up out of that spine. A lot of things to think about. Okay, now from here, keep your toes spread and press through your feet like you're pressing on the gas, but don't let the toes curl forward. They're still fanned out. Find as much space as you can. Now from here, you're gonna curl the toes and keep the toes curled and pull back. Watch that again. Your toes or your feet aren't turning in. Keep them flat. This is gonna feel like work. Now spread the toes. Press into the feet. Curl the toes, pull back. Watch that those feet are flat. Mine like to turn in a little bit as well. Fan the toes, press through the feet, curl the toes, and pull back. Fan the toes, press through the feet while the toes are still fanned, curl, and pull back. Feet are flat. Fan, press, curl, pull back, continue, fan, press, curl, pull back, sit up taller, a few more times. So the reason why we're doing this
is because there's so many muscles, so many little joints in our feet, and we don't mobilize those joints very much. We shove them in shoes, and they don't get an opportunity to really move. And then what happens is, again, your feet get stiff, and then you lose mobility in those feet. And you'll notice on older people a lot of times, they shuffle their feet, and that leads to tripping on stuff, and that's how a lot of times older people fall. So we can't neglect those feet. Let's do one more this direction. Hold. Now pull those feet back again in that starting position. Toes are fanned. Okay. Now curl the toes, keeping the feet pulled back. Now toes are curled and push forward. So we're pushing the gas, but toes are curled. Keep the toe or the foot pressing and fan the toes. So we're just reversing the direction. Now pull the toes back. Feet are flat. Curl the toes. Press. Fan. Pull back, curl, feet are flat, press, sit up taller, fan, pull back. Again, curl, press, fan, pull back. So a lot of times, if you're experiencing a lot of cramping, so a lot of times when I do this the first time with the clients, or the first 10 times, they experience a lot of cramping, and that's a sign of weakness and imbalance, okay? So what a lot of people don't realize is how your feet connect with the floor, with the earth, sets the tone for what happens in your ankles, for what happens in your knees and your hips. A lot of people who have knee and hip issues, it stems from having feet issues. Okay, so having bad, like maybe you don't have much of an arch, or maybe your arch is too high, people who have bunions and things like that. Okay, so we really want to focus on paying attention to what's going on with our feet. One more time. Curl, press, spread, and pull back. And relax. Whew. Go ahead and just roll those feet out. So if you're anything like me, you felt quite a bit of muscle engagement and things like that. Maybe you felt some cramping on the top. Sometimes people feel it in the shins, in the back of the legs. It's a little bit of everything, but I like to do that because it's good, again, to mobilize the feet, but it also gives people the understanding of, by just moving in the feet, how much it kind of comes up the entire body, okay? It makes a huge difference. All right, so next, go ahead and grab your resistance band again, and we're gonna do some shoulder mobilizing here as well. So sit up tall, grab your band and grab it nice and wide here. So I want you to start nice and wide. Now if this bothers your shoulder, try taking it a little bit wider. If that still isn't working for you, abstain, okay? So take it as wide as you can maybe to start, just to be safe. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring those arms back over and forward. Now I want you to avoid doing this. Okay, don't arch your back and let the rib cage pop. Same principles apply. We want your ribs down, pulling up with the lower abdominals, pressing down with the ribs, so you have a nice strong torso, nice strong powerhouse, nice strong core, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so we're thinking about abdominal connection while we're still mobilizing those shoulders. Now, if you find this to be quite easy, okay, you can take a bit narrower grip on the band. But again, you don't want to be doing this, okay? I don't want you to arch your back right now. I want you to think about that nice, strong abdominal connection. And one more time. And hold. Bring those arms out in front of you. You can roll out the shoulders a little bit if you need to. And then arms shoulder width apart right out in front of you. We're going into the bow and arrow here. So whether you can do this standing, you can do this seated. The big thing is that the hips don't move, so no twisting in the hips. Okay, arms are out front, shoulders are down, broadening through the collarbone here. You're gonna exhale, pull back and twist. So you're looking over that elbow that is bending and the other arm is straight. So it's again like you're drawing back that bow and center. Exhale, pull, twist and center. So we're trying again to find that twisting from the waist up. Those hips are nice and stable. pulling back. So again, feeling that all those little muscles around the scapula that are helping to draw that resistance band back, broadening through the collarbone. Inhale forward, exhale, pull. Inhale and exhale. Pull that tummy up and in. Every exercise is an abdominal exercise here. For 4 and 3, 2, last 1, and release. Roll out those shoulders. All right, let's go ahead and make our way down onto our belly for a little bit of prone work. So just set the resistance band to the side and bring your hands under your forehead. Feet are hip width apart. Shoulders down away from the ears. Pull up and in on that, or pull up and in with that belly button, so it's like you're trying to find space under that belly, between this belly and the mat, to slip a piece of paper. Okay, that's really important for that active abdominal connection. Just an ever so slight tuck, not a huge one, so you're not jamming your pubic bone into the mat, but just gentle so you can feel a little activation of the glutes. Legs are out behind you nice and long. Draw up on the kneecaps so that your leg or your kneecaps lift off the mat. Shoulders relaxed here, really important. We're activating the glutes and hamstrings. Take an inhale. Exhale, lengthen and lift your right leg. And inhale, lower. Exhale, lengthen, lift. And inhale, lower. Exhale, lengthen, lift. And inhale, lower. Really trying to pay attention. Again, you shouldn't feel any rocking from side to side with that torso, with those hips. I want that pelvis nice and grounded, both sides, regardless of which side you're lifting and lowering. Okay, there should be no rocking. That's where that pelvic stability comes in, by pulling up and in with those lower abdominals. That TA, again, offers that pelvic stability we're looking for. Shoulders are relaxed. Your back is not doing the work here. Your glutes and hamstrings are contracting to lengthen and lift and lower. Exhale, lengthen, lift and lower. Pull that tummy in towards the spine. That's going to help protect your back. For 4 and down. 3 and down. 2 and last one. Hold it up. Take an inhale. Exhale, other leg comes up as well. You need to lengthen those legs and squeeze those glutes. Do not let that lower back arch pull that tummy in towards the spine. Going into a gentle flutter kick. So again, we're not looking for that rocking from side to side. You've got to pull up and in with those abdominals for 8 and 7, 6, 5, 4. Pull that tummy in 3, 2, and 1. Release. Good. Bring those hands under your shoulders, and those elbows are tight against the sides so that the elbows are going up towards the ceiling. We're just going into like a little mini breaststroke prep. So I want you to keep that bottom rib glued down at all times. So we're just looking for a little bit of thoracic extension. That's essentially the area around the ribs, okay? That the spine is lifting. So don't lift your head, okay? Don't lift your chin. We want to find just that little baby extension in the rib cage area from the waist up. So take an inhale to prepare. Pull that tummy in. Exhale, shoulders down. Squeeze your back muscles and find that little bit of lift without lifting the chin. So you should not see that wall straight in front of you. And lower. Take an inhale. Exhale, lengthen, lift. Pull that tummy in towards the spine. Squeezing those glutes. Think about trying to lengthen and decompress the vertebra. And lower. So you shouldn't be feeling any lower back discomfort. If you are, you're just dumping into your back. I need you to pull that tummy up and in and try to lengthen out the top of the head. And lower. And exhale, lengthen, lift. And inhale, lower. Keep that bottom rib glued down so it's just a baby extension. And exhale, lengthen, lift.
And inhale, lower. Let's do 2 more. Exhale, lengthen, lift. And inhale, lower. One more time. Exhale, lengthen, lift. And inhale, lower. Good. Go ahead and roll onto your back. And grab your band again. Place the band around your hips. And then grab the band on either side of your hips so it's fairly taut. Now, we're going to add a little extra resistance here with the band. Your arms have to stay straight and strong. It's going to be a little bit of tricep work again as well, because we're trying to really keep that band down. So lengthen the arms down, shoulders away from the ears. Put some energy into those fingertips. Feet are hip width apart. Heels are directly under those knees. So again, make sure that those heels are pretty close to your booty. Take an inhale. As you exhale, squeeze your glutes and lift into that bridge position. Now, we're not looking for an arched back here in any way. Those ribs are still squared over the hips. From here, we inhale, tap, exhale, squeeze, lift. Inhale, tap, exhale, squeeze, lift. Think about as you squeeze and lift, putting some energy like you're trying to touch your knees to the wall in front of you so that you feel that nice kind of lengthening down the quad as you squeeze from the back into that bridge. Inhale, tap, exhale, squeeze, lift. Inhale, tap, exhale, squeeze, lift. So arms are trying to stay glued down onto the mat. That's where we get that little bit of tricep work. Pay attention to where those knees are. So again, the knees often, the alignment happens because of how your feet are making contact with the floor. So if you're putting all the weight on the outside of your foot, those knees are going to come wide. If you're not, if you don't have much of an arch or you're putting all the weight on the inside of your foot, those knees are going to come narrow. So I want you to equally distribute weight between your big and baby toe. For 5, and tap. For 4, and tap. For 3, for 2, and last one, hold it up, little pulses, pulse and pulse. 8 and 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold it at the top. Lift the heels and lower the heels. So hips stay where they are. Lift the heels and lower the heels. For 8 and down. 7, lift those hips a little higher by squeezing from the back. Don't let that back arch so that those ribs are stacked over the hips. Last 3, 2, and 1. Take an inhale. As you exhale, articulate down, sinking in the sternum, bringing your upper, middle, and then lower back down, one vertebra at a time. Good. Next. Set the band to the side. Okay, and then we're going to go into some clams here. So heels together, knees are bent. You can rest your head on your arm. It can be extended either way. Actually, you know what? We're going to come up for this one. I'd prefer if you come up onto your arm because we're going to focus on a little bit of scapula stability here as well. So make sure that those hips are stacked. That's the most important thing with doing clams properly is that top hip isn't rolling back. So even as that knee opens, hip stays stacked. So I don't care how big the clam opens, it's keeping those hips stacked. Shoulders down. Now, a lot of times too, people let their waist just dump into the floor so you get this huge curve of the spine here. I want you to press that top hip a little bit towards the ceiling, or that waist, maybe I should say, towards the ceiling. So you have that nice straight dart position. Head is again centered on the spine. It's not cocked to the side. All right, hips are stacked and exhale, open, inhale, close. Exhale, open, inhale, close. We're pressing up and out of that shoulder, protecting the shoulder girdle. So again, it's just the femur here that's rotating in my socket. I'm not rolling my whole hip back to open my knee. I'm thinking about pushing my waist a little bit towards the ceiling to create that nice dart position, that nice long spine, neutral spine. For 6 and 5, 4, 3, 2, last one, hold it open, little pulses, up, up. Again, don't let that hip roll back. If you need to, rest your hand on your hip so you can feel if it's rolling back. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold, press out of that shoulder. Now from here, you're going to tap the knee. So again, just rotating in the socket and tap the heel. Tap the knee and tap the heel. Pressing up and out of the shoulder, pulling that tummy in. So that's going to create that pelvic stability that's going to help prevent that hip from rocking forward and back. Last 4, and tap. 3, and tap. 2, lift out of that shoulder. Last 1. Let's hold it here. Let's finish with a couple pulses back. On pulse back and back. Last 5 and 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release. Good work. From here, we're going to go right into a side bend. So go ahead and bend your knees. So you're going to bend the leg that's closest to the floor. And then you're going to bring that top leg so that the foot is in front of the bottom foot. Okay? Lifting up and out of your shoulders. Okay, that other hand is just going to palm up, resting on the knee. You're going to take an inhale. Exhale, pushing those hips towards the ceiling, finding that nice little side bend. And inhale down. And exhale, press and lift. Thinking about creating a beautiful arch like a rainbow. And inhale down. And exhale, lengthen, lift. Push up towards the ceiling. Don't let that head totally drop towards the mat. Keep it centered over the spine. Let's do 2 more. Exhale, lengthen, lift. And inhale, lower. And exhale, lengthen, lift. And inhale, lower. Good. Let's switch sides. So we're bringing ourselves up onto that forearm, pressing up and out of our shoulders. Heels together, knees together, hips are stacked. So if you notice that top knee is shorter, okay, or sitting behind the bottom, it's because the hips are rolling back. So stack those hips. Press out of that shoulder. Push that waist up towards the ceiling a little bit so it's active. Obliques are active. And exhale, open the clam. Inhale, close. Exhale, open, and inhale, close. Good. Paying attention again that hip isn't rolling back. For 5 and 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold it there. Little pulses. Don't let the hip roll back. Press out of the shoulder. Press the waist towards the ceiling. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Going into the knee tap and heel tap. Knee and heel. Again, just moving that femur in that hip socket. Press out of the shoulder. Pull up and in with those abdominals. For 5 and tap. For 4 and 3, 2. Last one. Hold those heels together. Let's finish with those little pulses. 8 and 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Bring that top heel or foot in front of that bottom knee. And then bring yourself up onto your hand. That other arm is going to rest palm up on that knee towards the ceiling. Press out of the shoulder. Going into our side bend. Take an inhale. Exhale. Lengthen, lift. Find that beautiful rainbow. And inhale down. And exhale, lengthen, lift. And inhale down. Exhale, lengthen, lift. And inhale down. Let's do 3 more. For 3, press those hips towards the ceiling. Square yourself off. And 2. Let's do 1 more. And bring it down. Whew. Good work. Let's go ahead and bring ourselves back onto, well, actually, let's start seated. We'll have to start seated for this one. And we're going to go into rolling like a ball. So I always find this one quite fun. So you're going to sit yourself up, balancing on your sit bones, the bony part of your butt. Okay? Now bring one leg up to tabletop, and then the other. So you're balancing in a boat position. Now you can keep your legs behind your thighs or behind your knees, or you can bring them closer to your ankles, whatever works for you. Now, to initiate the rolling like a ball, you're gonna tuck your tailbone under. Don't fling your head back. That's what I see a lot of people do. So you're just gonna kind of pull that tummy up and in to create that pelvic tuck that we started the class with, to roll back to the shoulders and come up balancing on those sit bones. And exhale, roll back. Inhale, up and balance. And exhale, roll back. Inhale, up and balance. Now, if you need to tap those toes down to kind of stop yourself, so maybe it's a tap and come back up, that's totally fine, okay? Just do what you need to do, but you really want to practice that control, finding that balance back on those sit bones. Now, if you feel like you've mastered the regular rolling like a ball, you can go into an open leg rocker. So extend those legs towards the ceiling, tuck the tailbone under, back to those shoulders, and up onto the tailbone. And exhale back. Inhale up. Let's do 3 more. Last time. Woo! Always fun. And balance on those sit bones so you're in that boat position. Hold here, and if you can, bring your arms out, palms towards the ceiling. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring those feet down and bring yourself all the way back. Lengthen the legs out here. We're going to go into roll-ups. Press through those heels, hands overhead. Pull that belly button in towards the spine. Try not to let the rib cage pop. So I want you to feel that you can hopefully feel the back of the ribs grounded. Take an inhale here. Exhale, arms start to come up, tuck your chin, and begin to slowly roll up, rounding over your thighs. And inhale, stack up to a flat back. Exhale, tailbone under and roll back. Inhale, hands overhead. Don't let the rib cage pop. Exhale, arms come up, chin starts to curl or tuck and curl up, curling over those thighs. So it's like you're coming over a barrel. So you really want to pull up and in with the abdominals. Inhale, stack the spine. Now, if that's too much for you and you can't do the full roll up and roll down, you can just come down maybe halfway to or 3/4 and then come back up. So you're going to stack the spine, exhale, come down, inhale, hold, exhale, roll forward, and inhale, stack the spine. So that's kind of the smaller version, and it's still a great option. Otherwise, you're coming all the way back, hands come overhead without the ribs popping. Do not fling your arms forward. Use your abdominals here to bring yourself up. Let's do 2 more. Exhale, back. Inhale, hands overhead. Exhale, up. And inhale, last time. And inhale. Good. Go ahead and bring yourself all the way back and grab your band. And we're going to finish with a little bit of stretching here. So go ahead and place your right foot in the band
And press that heel towards the ceiling here. So don't worry about pulling your toes too much towards your face. I want you to just find that as much as you can, straight leg, pressing into that heel. Because there are some people that are hypermobile, okay, in the hip. Generally, they have a more shallow hip socket, just genetically or naturally. So they can easily just pull their foot towards their face, but they feel no stretch whatsoever in the hamstring. So that's where we need to lengthen the back of the leg, push the heel towards the ceiling to make sure it's the hamstring we're stretching, okay, and not just, again, trying to pull that foot towards the face. Try to relax your shoulders, neck, face. Just breathe normally here. And then make sure that your opposing hip stays glued down, so don't let it roll off, and open that other leg towards the side for that inner thigh stretch. Bring yourself back to center, and then just bring that foot across the body about 6 inches and hold for that outer thigh hip stretch. And then go ahead and switch sides. Place that left foot in the band. Push that heel towards the ceiling. Really focus on lengthening that leg to feel that nice stretch down the back of the leg. Again, try to relax your shoulders, your neck, your face, and just breathe here. Keep that opposing right hip glued down as you open that leg out to the side for that inner thigh stretch. And then bring that foot about 6 inches across your body for that outer thigh hip stretch. Bring it back to center. And release. Place your right ankle on top of your left knee and pull that left knee in towards your chest. And you can use your right elbow to push that right knee out a little bit to create a little bit more of a hip opener. And switch sides. Carefully release. Bring both hands behind your knees. And then just rock a few times back and forth, massaging out your spine. And on this last one, come up to a seated position.
And you can face towards me, sitting up nice and tall. And bring your right hand or your left hand to your right knee and take a nice little spinal twist. And switch sides. And release, hands down by your sides. Sit up nice and tall. Take a deep inhale, arms overhead. And exhale. Again, deep inhale. And exhale. One more time, deepest breath you've taken all day. And bring your hands down through heart center. And give yourself a little round of applause.